funny moment last night. The Knicks brought a broom, if you will, and not because this is going to be a sweep. So the ball got lodged up there by the shot clock, and Andre Drummond, for reasons I cannot figure out, just could not get the ball out of there with the broom. So Karl Anthony Towns says, give me that, and then in one shot, knocks it right out, and the crowd went insane. That might have been the loudest
that was fun.
That the Garden crowd was. Look at Chalamet.
Loved it.
He loved it. Anyway, that was sort of a funny moment there.
Drummond was getting booed mercilessly because
and deservedly so.
And the fact that Towns did it in one shot and got the ovation, I noted the time and I said, let's see where the game turns from here. If that's a momentum swing, it was not.
Well, let's show you exactly how it then turned. The game came down to the fourth quarter, and in case you're just joining us, we ran through all of this. Jalen Brunson, who had sort of an up and down night till that point, just went super clutch. Tie-breaking basket comes with around 5 minutes left. He had 8 points in the fourth. Knicks beat the Sixers 108-102, take a 2-0 series lead. Philly was up in this game by 3 points with 6 minutes left. And then the Knicks locked in. They ended the game on a 12-3 run as the Sixers shot 1 of 9 to close out the game, including 0 of 7 from 3. And in case you're just joining us, Monica, I want you to make the point again. You said the sixth man in this series is the schedule. The Sixers have not had and will not have time to catch their breath. They had to play that 7-game war against the Celtics, turn around, no rest, game 1, no rest, game 2. I thought they were going to win that game the whole night last night, and then they clearly ran out of gas at the end.
About the third quarter, I thought, I don't think the Sixers have enough in the tank. Now, I will say that sixth man had been wearing orange and blue until yesterday when OG Anunoby pulls up, and we don't know what that's going to look like. But this series is every other day for a while until somebody forces a Game 7, and that would obviously be Philly as the lower seed.
Right. If there is, that's the only time there would be an extra day of rest in here. So if you're going to big picture it for us right now, and we will wait and hear whatever it is that comes out about OG Anunoby's injury. But if you're going to big picture it right now, 1 game, no Embiid, next game, or the reverse of that, he plays the first game, doesn't play the second, win man, how would you describe where this series is right now?
I really think that the Philly needs Embiid to come back and be a factor. They're 1-3 without Embiid in the playoffs. They're 3-2 with him. I mean, they obviously have to protect him, but he has to come back to uplift their offense. And the Knicks, you know, they're in great position. They're playing great basketball. They're on a winning streak. OG Anunoby was, in my view, a top 5 player in the playoffs. So they are going to have to retrofit the way they're going to play because OG was providing so much for them. I really think it's going to come down to Karl Towns. The player who has more to give is Karl Towns, but it only works if he's on the court. He's got to stay out of foul trouble. I think Karl Towns and his fouls are about to become a major part of this series, just as Joel Embiid's health will be.
I'm going to go even further on OG Anunoby. He was the best player on the floor last night, period. He was. And when luckily they were able to have him. We saw him come off the court and go to the locker room late, and you're like, it was during the timeout, and timeouts are longer in the postseason. You think, well, maybe he's just taking a little bathroom moment, and he's going to be right back out there. Not so fortunate if you're the Knicks. But in terms of two-way play, Anunoby was tremendous last night. I'm totally with Brian on this. He's been one of the 5 best players in the playoffs. So now what? Now, the Knicks, at least, did they play 11 people last night, I believe?
Yes.
The Knicks have the depth, veteran depth, to sort of deal with this in this series. It's going forward, if he's going to miss any real time, that you start to worry about.
You can see it there. It's a great spot shadow that we had on him right there. You see when he starts back up the floor. He pulls up the first time, then he runs out to the corner and he's spotted up for the shot. It's when he turns and runs back up the floor.
This is the part right here.
Right there he pulls up. But now, okay, the play continues. He gets sort of jammed on the dunk there by Paul George. He's going to spot up in the corner. He's looking for the ball. And watch as he takes off up the floor. Right there, you just that one little
noticeable limp.
And then he looks to the bench and he says, I got to go. They end up getting a stop and come back the other way, and then they finally get him out of the game. It was still very late in the game. He does go into the back, and that was the thing. All the talk around the Garden, you had a lot of Knick legends in the building, along with celebrities, and every single one of them that I saw on the court after the game, all was coming up to me going, all right, what's the story with OG? It shows you how valuable he is. He might not be a name around the NBA. He might not be one of those marquee names that you always talk about, but in New York, they know his value. He's at a point, I haven't updated the numbers, but he's at a point now that since they traded for him with Toronto 2 years ago, that the Knicks are almost 50 games over 500 when he plays. Like, that just shows you how he has taken that. Jalen Brunson gets a lot of credit for turning the franchise around and getting it to where it is right now. But Anunoby's addition is unheralded, but he is a huge impact player.
So I hosted the NBA coverage here for 2 seasons alongside Mr. Wilbon, and if there's one thing I miss most about that, it's being able to turn to you whenever I wanted to and ask a question that gives me perspective. So here's my question.
Okay.
It feels like this year's playoffs have been defined by injury, right? In every single series, it feels like someone goes down here or there. And last night it's Embiid, and hopefully it isn't going to be Anunoby now, but I don't have a great feeling about it watching him go up the floor, at least that he won't miss a little bit of time. So I turn to you when I say, is it always that way and I just don't remember it, or does it seem to be particularly so this year?
It's particularly so, but it's trendier than this year. Remember the season with Golden State in the playoffs. Championship team in the playoffs, and you get, we've seen Steph Curry have to miss playoff time in series, and is he going to come back? Is he going to back him? And he has. Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. We've seen this over the last 6 or 7 seasons all too much. Look at last year. Look at Tatum. I know Boston was going out of that anyway. Halliburton.
Devastating,
So, no, it's been the last few years, and we're talking about big stars. And no, because I've been covering the playoffs far more years than I'm going to say out loud. And most of those years, no one of that stature, first-team All-NBA players did not, I'm not going to say there weren't bumps and bruises and there weren't sprains and things that kept him out, but not like this.
Right.
Even Oklahoma City, Jalen Williams is there.
Jalen Williams still haven't played yet.
That's right. And that's and I mean, obviously, Luka, who's not even been
that's
Luka,
the biggest one of all.
There's that number on Anunoby. They are 132 and 67 when he plays. Okay. This is going to be a fun little stroll down memory lane.
Wouldn't have been able to do if Joel was out there. They missed Joel Embiid at the end of this game. When this game came down to the fourth quarter, when it was a possession game, the Knicks are extraordinarily comfortable in those situations. They were a top 3 clutch team in the league, and that's not a surprise. Look at how they're equipped. They have floor spacers, they have great pick and roll partners, and Jalen Brunson in isolation is simply awesome. He's one of the best clutch players in the league. But Philly didn't have that big man to throw it to. Yes, you rely on some three-point shooting, and sometimes you go cold, but this game would have had a completely different look if Philly had Joel Embiid to throw it to. And quite frankly, OG Anunoby is maybe, if not the best two-way player left in the playoffs, one of the best two-way players left in the playoffs, and his availability going forward is key. So the Knicks have a cushion here, but the injury reports coming out ahead of Game 3 will be vital.
Let's talk about Embiid a little more. All 4 of us at this desk were at the game last night. So before the game, I was asking anyone that I could get close to, do you think they're better off without him? Do you think they actually have a better chance to win without him? And universally, everyone said no.
No. And if they had thought that he was going to miss last night, they would have held him out Monday night. They would have held him out Game 1. It wasn't really strongly considered because he wanted to play. He wanted to play last night. But they saw that he was not ready physically to play. We saw how he was dragging himself back and forth on Monday in Game 1. And so by the time you see that, though, it's too late. So hindsight is they would have held him out of Game 1. He would have gotten those 3 or 4 days rest between then and Game 2 and played him last night. They'd had a much better chance in Game 2. So that's huge. Anunoby has been the Knicks' best two-way player. Look, Brunson was great in clutch time because that's what Brunson does now. He was 9 for 21. The Philly defense did okay on Brunson last night. The 2 clips we saw of those great shots he hit late, they were the shots that put the Knicks ahead. But with Anunoby situation now, not knowing what it is, Embiid missing, do I expect Embiid to miss Friday night? From what I heard last night from the Sixers, no, I would not expect that. He's going to have to go through, as Alan talked about, with his medical and training staff, he's going to have to go through some things. But this is about who is going to be able to play better, be better in the moment without a critical player.
So we were talking this morning, Monica, you and I, about the impact that his absence had on the game and how maybe through the first 3 quarters, it almost did benefit the Sixers because they sped up the tempo and their guards, their smalls, the sort of smaller lineup was working for them. But then it does appear they ran out of gas in the fourth quarter.
There were 2 things that I noted about the way the Sixers started yesterday. Yes, we knew it was going to be faster, but they also were very deliberate about being more physical with the Knicks, right? Like it was carte blanche in Game 1. And so that means